Take questions for both Coach Hall and the student athletes. Coach?
All right, guys, man, really excited to be here. Excited to be the head coach at the University of Southern Mississippi, a state that means so much to me. Most of you know, man, I grew up a Mississippi high school coach's son, so it means a lot to me to represent this university. Excited to be in the Sun Belt Conference. It's awesome for us to be joining a league with such a great vision and a great plan moving forward. It's very settling as a football coach to know we're in a league with like-minded institutions that have goals on the short term but also long term, and there's a plan moving forward. It's just been a first-class operation all day today, and, man, it's been great to be here. And then excited about these two young men that are here with me, man. They embody what Southern Miss is. Swayze is from Flora, Mississippi, played at Tri-County Academy, which is a great high school program in the state. Was overlooked. Then he goes to Colin Junior College and then comes here. Jason Brownlee is from West Point, Mississippi. One of the top high school programs in the whole country, and was overlooked and goes to East Mississippi Community College and is now at Southern Miss. They're both college graduates. Swayze was with a major in kinesiology. He'll be done with his master's in December as well, and Jason's a recent graduate in liberal arts. So they're everything Southern Miss is about, man. They've got that grit. They've got that chip on their shoulder, and they're really good football players that are both going to have a chance to continue playing football when they're done. We're a place with great history and tradition. We've had 125 draft picks. We've played in 22 bowl games. We've done a lot of great things, and we got to get back to that. We're not there yet, but we're building it day by day, and we're excited to be here, and we're excited to go into year two where we feel like we're in much better footing and in a much better situation to play bona fide real Division I football. So with that, we'll open it up.
Before we do open up for questions, I want to take the opportunity to introduce, because there are new people in the room, new teams in the league, new faces. Jack Duggan. Jack, raise your hand if you would. He's the sports information director. He'll be the go-to guy for any information on the Golden Eagles. We now want to take questions for Coach Hall and for the student athletes. For those of you in the room, if you have a question, we ask you to please raise your hand and wait for a microphone to get to you. And if you would, please stand up so we can catch you on camera. Please state your name and your media affiliation before you ask your question. And for those of you on Zoom, please type your questions into the chat, and I will read those out loud. So first of all, any questions from the floor?
How you doing, Coach? Austin Lindsay, the student prince of Southern Miss. Coach, not to start on the somber mood, but there have been reports of Hayes Maples being out for the season. Could you just report on that and confirm it? And what's the step forward in linebacker room and position group right there?
Yeah, that is true. Hayes got injured over the summer and off-season workouts. He will be out for the year. Tough deal. Hayes is a great young man from Oak Grove, Mississippi, plays, does everything that you ask every day. And that's the reality of life, right? Bad things happen. And a lot of times in life, bad things happen to really good people. And this was one of those situations. We've used it as a teachable moment with our players. The silver lining in it, I guess if there is one, is that's the one position on our team where we've got a lot of depth. We've got Swayze back right here who's played a ton of really good minutes in college football. We've got Santrell Latham back who's played a ton of great football. We've got TQ Newsome, a young guy from Gulfport, Mississippi, that's coming on and played some good ball for us last year. And then we signed a young man by the name of Dalen Gill from Louisville, Mississippi, not Louisville, Mississippi. Louisville, Mississippi, all right, and was an all-stater, and then was a junior college All-American at Jones Junior College. And so we brought him in and was here for spring ball. So we've got some depth right there. We feel like we can overcome that with the talent we've recruited, but we certainly hate it for Hayes. We're there for him with our team. He's attacking rehab with an enthusiasm uncommon to mankind, just like he does everything. And, we hate it for him, but he will be back. And but that's his status moving forward.
Coach, Emmanuel Peppis, Sun Belt Conference. Just wanted to get you to talk about, you touched on it a little bit, but you mentioned about the excitement of joining this league, but talk about it from the perspective of being able to play some schools within you guys' area and from that perspective, just kind of talk about the excitement from that point where you get to play against some more regional opponents.
Yeah, I've not run into anyone that's not just ecstatic about joining this league. And that's not just standing up here and talking to you through rose-colored glasses. I mean, our fan base is extremely excited because when they wake up on Sunday and Monday morning and they're drinking coffee at the coffee shop. Now we're playing Troy, we're playing Monroe, we're playing UL, we're playing South Alabama. Like, man, Arkansas State, like they know those teams. They've played them before. There's some type of instant recollection from their past of playing those teams that they can remember. They know where they're at. And man, that matters. And anybody that think it doesn't matter is wrong. And you know, in a day and age where college football is kind of moving away from that, at the autonomy level, you know, down here where we are, I think it's been really smart by our commissioner, and I commend him and everybody that's been in charge of it to get back to this geographic footprint with a lot of schools that really care about football. And we're excited to be joining it, but I know our fans are the one that are going to benefit most.
Jason, Swayze, what about the new league?
We're extremely excited to have the opportunity to play in the Sun Belt. It's going to be a really fun time, new faces, new teams to face, and we're just extremely blessed and excited for the opportunity that we have.
Kevin Foote, Acadiana Advocate. Coach, can you talk about first the quarterback situation for y'all, and also just kind of how do you see the West race? The Cajuns have won it 4 years in a row, but there's been talk about it's a little more open this year.
Yeah, good to see you again too, Kevin. Well, first with our quarterback, man, you know, everybody knows what we went through last year, which I don't recommend going through for anybody, but we made it through it right and we're tougher and better because of it. We've got a young man that started 3 games and played in 4. That was a highly recruited kid, one of the greatest high school careers in Mississippi history, and Ty Keys. Ty was fully healthy for spring ball, had a great spring, he's had a great summer. He'll be our starter going into fall camp. Really talented young man that we think has that it factor. We think there's a lot of reasons to have a lot of high hopes for him. Now, he's young, okay? And when you're a young quarterback, there's growing pains. We'll go through those together, but we feel really good about the trajectory of our program with Ty running it. Behind him, we got a young man named Trey Lowe who started for us last year at the beginning of the year and got hurt. He's back and fully healthy. And then we got a young man named Zach Wilkie, who was the number 1 rated quarterback in the state of Mississippi last year out of Hernando, Mississippi, that early enrolled and went through spring ball. So we're in a much better situation quarterback-wise moving forward. And as far as the Sun Belt West, you know, like you said, man, I think everybody thinks it's wide open because there's so many programs like us that are either in year 2 with their coach or in year 1 with their coach. But it's a lot of coaches that have an unbelievable track record, a lot of coaches that have been head coaches before and won where they came from, and a lot of coaches that if they haven't been a head coach before, they've got tremendous track record where they come from. So we're excited to be in the West. It's going to be highly competitive, and we look forward to doing our part to add value.
Andrew Abity, Pine Belt Sports. Will, the NIL and the transfer portal has been a hot topic here as well as across college sports. How have you had to change your recruitment, and just how do you think that impacts the future of the Sun Belt as a whole?
Yeah, so, you know, transfer portal is something, you know, me and Coach Bowden, you know, we're joking earlier. You know, I was a D2 coach for 14 years and for a head coach for 6 years, man, and we were living in the portal before there was a portal. Because used to, when a kid left a Division I school, he had to transfer down to be immediately eligible. So we built programs with high school kids and transfers forever and ever. So it's not too, you know, unfamiliar for me and where we've come from. What we want to do is from the moment we got to Southern Miss, we wanted to get back to owning our footprint. And what is that for us? Well, that's Mississippi, Lower Alabama, Southeast Louisiana, and the Panhandle of Florida. That's been really good to Southern Miss for a long, long time. We want to get back to recruiting those areas with a lot of intensity. And so we've done that. Now, is that high school kids? Is that junior college kids? Is that portal kids? It's all of it. You know, all the portal kids we took were from that footprint. So we felt like we knew them. We felt like we knew their high schools. We knew where they were from. And we felt like we knew a lot about them. And look, man, the day's coming where the portal's not going to be kind to us. We recognize and understand that. But that's part of it, man. It's not going away. We've got to learn how to manage it moving forward. And so far, it's been good to us. As far as NIL goes, you know, we're off and running with it at Southern Miss. It's another thing that's not going away, so we might as well embrace it and figure out how to use it to our advantage. We do have a real fan base that's passionate. And, you know, so we're off and running with it and hope to continue to grow it to help our student athletes.
Coach Charlie Krause, the Coach and Crew Show. You said you want to get back to Southern Miss grit. Can you expand on that, please?
Well, there's very few places that you can coach at where they actually, most fan bases want to see touchdowns. They want to see flash. Man, at Southern Miss, they want to see you play defense. The Nasty Bunch slogan has been around for a long time. We've won a lot of games with it. That's one of the things we were proud of in year one is we were able to get off on a good foot defensively and start getting that Nasty Bunch slogan back, if you will. We gave up 23 touchdowns over 11 games. We gave up 30 total defensively, but 7 of them were at Alabama, and they score a lot of touchdowns on everybody. So 23 in the other 11 games. And so we felt like we took a big step forward. We're getting that defense back. With Swayze coming back and most of our linebackers back, all of our secondary back, and a really good recruiting class D-line-wise, we feel like we could really have a good defensive unit this year.
I have a quick Zoom question on the same topic. This was for Swayze. Southern Mississippi has had a long time tradition of having hard-nosed defenses. Do you think you made a step toward getting that tradition back?
I definitely think we made that step. Last year, we got off to a good foothold in what we were trying to do. Coach Armstrong is just an incredible defensive coordinator, one of the youngest in the nation. He's just amazing to play under, and the scheme that he's given us is incredible, and we've all bought into it, and we're really excited about that. And so be able to have this second year going into that same scheme and then getting some key transfers in, it's really exciting for the potential that we have.
Raymond Parch with the game, 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles. This is for Coach and the players. What are some of the small things, maybe some of the fundamental things that you guys have been working on this offseason and be working on in camp that's going to make the difference to go from the season that you had a year ago to having a winning season and being a bowl team this year?
Yeah. You want to go first?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just coming together as one and really just focusing on a little thing and being technical sound on like the depth of the routes and what we got to be and blocking and stuff like that.
So Coach Armstrong in the defense, our main goal at every practice is tackling. So we'll go tackling circuit every day at practice, which is I think not what we used to do. Is that we weren't a very good tackling team before Coach Hall and Coach Armstrong got here, but now that we put a huge emphasis on tackling, and so every single day at practice we'll have some type of tackling drill circuit going on where we really emphasize that, getting the right angles, getting the right departure and everything like that, and making sure that we will be the best tackling team in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, they both talked about little things and within their own, compartment. I think one thing we talk about as a staff, we talk about with the players, when you're building a program and you're trying to go from a program that has not been winning to get to where you can win, you've got to first stop doing the things that cause you to lose. Like that's step one, because most football games are lost. They're not won. And that was one thing I was pleased of, last year, as towards the end of the year, we quit doing those things that cause you to lose games, which allows you to be in it at the end, and we're able to find a way to win our last two, which was good. I think a lot of our young kids realized that and bought into that, and hopefully that's something we can carry with us into the offseason. I think we have and can continue to do moving forward.
David Eckert, Hattiesburg American. Will, for you, been talking about transfers a lot here. Obviously, you had a pretty sizable group come in. I'm curious what you're hoping to get out of that group, and if there's a guy or two in there that you're really looking forward to seeing this fall.
Yeah, we're hoping to get a lot out of them, David. We enrolled 26 kids at mid-year, which is an astronomical amount for a Division I football program, but that's where we were at, right? We played the season with 62 scholarships. We'll be at 85 here in year two. So we're excited about being fully funded and being ready to roll with that. As far as some guys that we're really looking forward to seeing, all those D linemen we brought in will play a significant role. They all had really good springs. Tyler Knight's a young man in the secondary and on the special teams that we got high hopes for. We brought in several old linemen that are going to, play major parts in that. And we also added some depth at running back, which we needed, to help us. So I don't think any of them we brought in won't play a significant role because of where we were at. Look, we had some good players last year. We really did. We had some good players. We just didn't have enough at 62. We were like a 3A school playing a 6A schedule to resonate with you high school football fans. Now we're a 6A team. We've got enough players, and we're excited about going into the season.
This is for Jason and for Swayze. Coach talked about reestablishing what's been a proud program and a proud tradition at Southern Miss. Just wanted to get you guys to kind of comment on some of the things that he's kind of instilled that you guys have taken, and now that you can pass on to some of the newer guys that are coming in.
He been teaching us a lot about just coming together as one and just being there for each other. And ever since he been here, we just been building that bond, and we interact with each other a lot, offense and defense. It really don't matter.
Yeah, kind of piggyback on that. Coach Hall came in trying to build a culture that develops real men. And that's what Southern Miss is about. It's about developing real men. There's not a lot left in the world right now. And so that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to let the older guys show the young guys what it's like to be a man and what it's like to really take responsibility for what your job is. Basically, that's what our job is in college. As a college athlete, you come to work every day, and if you don't, you lose your job.
Coach Scott Watkins, Sun Herald, this is for you and Jason. Last year, you already touched on the quarterback thing. The offensive line was also an issue. What exactly is different about this year that gives you guys confidence that things will be different?
Yes, sir. Our offensive line have been working their butts off every day, putting in overtime, putting in extra work, and they got that chip on their shoulder going into this year, knowing that what they got to do.
Yeah, I think Jason's right. One of the first things we did going into the offseason was hire Sam Gregg as our offensive line coach. Sam's one of the top O-line coaches in the country. We hired him from Liberty. And Sam was with me for 14 years through that whole D2 run where we had a lot of success together. Just a tremendous teacher, a tremendous molder of young men. We've added 7 scholarship O-linemen to that room over the course of a year, which is a lot. All right, and we had a lot of them coming back. And they've gotten they're a year older, they're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit stronger. So we think we'll be improved on the offensive line. I'm not saying we're a finished product there by any means, but we think we'll play a lot better and a lot more fundamentally sound than what we did last year.
Coach, a question for you. Last year, you did something very unique at the quarterback spot at the end of the season. Could you explain what you did, and is it something we might see going forward?
Yeah, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? So the last 3 games of the year, we didn't play a quarterback. We snapped it to a running back. We rotated them in, and, it got a lot of attention, and we were able to win the last 2 games of the year, which was great. But what we really did, again, we were shorthanded with a roster, and to the point that it was almost unhealthy to play a whole college football game with that reduced amount of players. So what we did was we milked it down to 1 second and reduced the whole football game by probably about 40 snaps total, which 40 times 11 is 440 snaps a game. We didn't have to have a young man out on the field, which gave our kids a chance, because what we found is we would get into the second half of a lot of games and we were in it, and we just got tired, man. We didn't have enough bodies, and we don't want to have to do that again. We will use the superback offense each week. Well, it'll be a wrinkle of what we do. But we would like to get back to being a quarterback-driven program, right? Southern Miss is known for quarterbacks, from Brett Favre to Reggie Collier to Lee Roberts to Jeff Kelly, Nick Mullins, Austin Davis. We've had great quarterbacks go to the NFL forever and ever, and we want to get back to being a quarterback-driven program, and we think we're on our way to that. Now, they're young, but they're young and talented, and we're molding them every day.
Hey, Coach, Steven Mixon, the student Prince. Got a question for you and Jason. Just can you talk a little bit more about Ty Keys' development as the quarterback? Now he's had a full spring going into fall camp. And then, Jason, how is it to be able to practice with one quarterback and be able to develop that routine with them, develop that chemistry?
Ty Keys has changed his work ethic too, and I feel like that he know what he got at hand. He's been working real hard to get healthy and stay healthy. We've been putting in overtime, after practice catches, stuff like that to get that timing and stuff down pat. And I feel like he know the playbook well now, and he's just ready to go.
Yeah, Ty's worked extremely hard. He came in at 196 pounds when he got here with us at the end of May last summer, and he's 218 before we left yesterday. So he's a lot more physical. He's gained some weight. He looks a lot better. He's been able to lift weights for a year for the first time in his life. And like I said, man, he's young, and we've got to play well around a young quarterback. We can't just put it all on him. But we're excited about his development and his future.
Any others from the floor?
Coach, this is for you. Could you talk a little bit more and expound on just a little bit about the transfer portal and 8 of those guys you got from the SEC a little bit, and just talk about what those guys have been bringing this offseason, of course?
Well, you know, we did. They were all here for January, so they got to go through our off-season program. They got to, we told them from day one, the moment they got here, we will not become you. You've got to become us. And they have. They've embraced it from the get-go. I think they like the personal relationships. We're a little bit old school in how we run our program. We're very personable. Maybe it's my small college background. We're not a business in any way. They've embraced that. I think they've enjoyed it. They went through spring ball. They went through our off-season program. They had good springs, and we're excited about all of them. All of them were in that footprint. You know, you're talking about Wayne County, Tylertown, Pearl, Houston, South Panola. I mean, those are places that have had great success at Southern Miss forever and ever. Harrison Central, you know. So we're excited about bringing them into our program. We're excited about them coming back home, if you will. And we think they're going to be great additions to what we're trying to get done.
Swayze, this one's for you. Obviously, you know, we talked about the loss of Hayes there. I'm just curious what you can do, I guess, to kind of help your group overcome that, and what you need to see from the other guys to help you guys get over that hump.
Yeah, so anytime you lose someone like Hayes, it's going to not only affect like the position group, it's going to affect the whole team, because he's one of the backbones of our defense. He's one of the biggest leaders on our team. And so when someone like that goes down, you kind of hang your head a little bit. But I know that if you were to ask him, he wouldn't want you to hang your head. He'd want you to go and attack the next day harder than you ever did. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep a positive outlook on him. I'm going to check on him every day. We're going to hang out. We're going to go through this camp together. He's basically going to coach us the whole time. And so we're just going to attack every day like it's our last, because, I mean, Hayes is probably one of the hardest workers I've ever met, and just in an instant, you know, his season's over. And so it kind of puts in perspective that it could be you. And so that makes us go harder every day, and we're going to take that into the season.
Jackson Howell, Big Gold Nation. Coach, you talked about getting back to your recruiting footprint. What are some of the difficulties with the new regional rivalries, particularly with South Alabama right down the road?
Yeah, I mean, we got great respect for South Alabama. I got great respect for Kane. Kane's a former Southern Miss great, and you know, we got a lot of respect for their program being there. You know, and we're glad to be in the same conference as them. And you know, as far as us, I mean, we've got our vision and our blueprint for what we're trying to build with our program. And we focus more on us and what we're trying to do every day. We got great respect for Kane and great respect for South Alabama.
Any others from the floor? Coach, Jason, Swayze, we appreciate it. Good luck to you going forward this season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will continue in this room and